Hey guys, this is me. My name is Cesar Rodriguez, and I am the creator of Peaceful Watcher. First, I want to say Happy Halloween. I told you I get 2 videos out before the end of the month. Hopefully, this is posted by then. So basically, for a lot of you know, I have been gone for a while. I've only uploaded 4 videos in the past year and a half, and the reason I said this is because I was working on a big scale project. This project being Peaceful Watcher. So now I have my viewers from Peaceful Watcher that can come to DeadHatz and get enjoyment out of this video, and my people from DeadHatz who hopefully will check out Peaceful Watcher, which is what I've been busy with for the last year and a half. Jesus. So basically how it's going to work is I'm going to talk into a lot of the detail of how I made it, thought processes, filming and all that. However, I do have to get in the nitty gritty for some bits, just so that way it can benefit to those who want to create their own web series. So I'm going to have this video kind of mostly non-spoiler, but there will be a spoiler section. The reason for this is so I can get into those details that can really help content creators who want to make unfiction or web series. But I do have to talk about details that happen a lot later in the story. So if you don't want to see that yet and you want to see the whole series in full, link will be in the description down below. And with this series, I would say it has a watch time of probably about 7 hours. It's about 80 videos, but 30 of those are literally less than a minute. Well, actually more like 20. But either way, they only average like 3 to 5 minutes each. Some are a little longer. I think the longest is 15 minutes, but the shortest is literally like 30 seconds. So you could probably watch all in 7 hours. I don't expect you to. And plus 30 of those 70 videos are like hidden. So only 50 of the videos you can see like right now. And you do have the little bit of, you know, cluing out what this means and all that. So if you like that, that's fun. If you don't, I'll leave in the description a link to the Peaceful Watcher Discord. This Discord has my Peaceful Watcher community, and they have a very excellent documentation of everything that happens, from stuff that doesn't happen videos, secret videos, so that way you can get the full story. And if you're ever confused, we're always there to help. And also, if you stay till the end, I will put a little teaser on what my next web series is going to be. I'm not going to work on that anytime soon, just because I'm a bit exhausted from Peaceful Watcher. I need a break, and I want to focus on DeadHatz a bit more. Although I will say this, there's going to be 2 teasers I'm releasing, one here, and one is going to be a secret one on the newest Peaceful Watcher video in the comments section. You'll see how it works. And then at the end, of course, I'll include some statistics. If any of you watch Nightmine, you'll know he did a Project Trailhead, and so I sadly was very busy and I could not make a submission to this. I just had a lot of work, a lot of school. Well, no, school was just starting. I had a lot of work and I just couldn't find time to turn in. I feel bad about that. Yeah, I'm sorry. But I'll include some statistics down here. They probably won't be able to get in, but you know, it's good to know for those who are interested. What made me think of Peaceful Watcher? Like, how did I write this story? Well, fun fact, when I originally wrote the entire storyline, which I wrote it all from the beginning in this journal, and so as you can see, you know, I had like what every episode was going to be, what it was going to be in it, and this is nowhere near what the final story ended up to be. But it went through so many changes that I just simply had to cut some stuff out, put some new stuff in. This is normal. This is to be expected. But anyways, as far as inspiration, like how did I think of Stalker gets his own Stalker? Well, I actually got this from 2 things. One, I had just finished watching Nightmine's Just Acquaintances series, which is a very amateurish project compared to like some of the ones we have today, of course. And I loved it because of that. It really gave me this feeling like, holy crap, anybody can do this, you know? I could do this. I had a very cheap camera that I've had since middle school, and I went out and filmed with that, and that's what my early videos used. I had also just finished watching Dexter and You, which became inspiration for the serial killer stuff and the stalkery stuff. After I kind of realized this, I took that journal that I held up earlier and I wrote everything in it, from the storyline and all that, characters, name changes, you know, everything was the same. And now let's get to filming.
I can explain. I can explain. No, no.
Explain what? You're always fucking following me.
No, no.
Fucking around?
Huh?
Making a video.
No, you ruined the shot. So filming. After making the storyline, I had immediately called up my friends and they were down. Surprisingly, not much convincing was needed. They're like, okay, let's go. And so we went and we filmed Meet Jesse and Meet George all in one day. And then I got home. I was so excited. I edited everything, and the first 3 episodes were made just like that. And it got no traction. But that's to be expected, okay? One thing I highly suggest before you make your series, if you plan to do it, is to watch the Hitmoss series on Nightmind. Hitmoss is an acronym which stands for How to Make Your Own Web Series, I believe. And I watched every video on there at least 5 times. Even the ones that didn't even apply to the type of series I was making, I was watching just for insight on something. I did a lot of research. I looked up how to make ARG, how to make a good ARG. There's not that many of them out there. Like, surprisingly, only Nightmind has a video for it. Now, for filming, this is how I would do for filming. Basically, I would go out there with my friends. I would have the camera, and I'd say, okay, I need you to stand over there and just text on your phone. Look like you're just chilling in a park alone. No one chills alone, but I mean, you know, I have to make it look like something. And so, you know, just basically said, hey, go over there, look normal, just act like I'm not even filming you, and I'm gonna be filming you. And then you'll know it's done when I walk towards you and say I got everything I needed. And we pretty much got most of it first take. Honestly, I was surprised, but then again, there wasn't much acting, so there wasn't many takes needed. When there were scenes I had to do where there was acting, such as certain characters talking to each other or certain events, those are the ones that took a lot of retakes over and over and over until I got it just how I wanted it, or at least pretty close to how I envisioned it in my mind. Another part about filming, though, is interacting with viewers. So, for those of you who don't know, there are some Twitter accounts that you have to keep up with to get the full story. You can watch the entire YouTube series and get a basic understanding of the story, but to get the full, deep version of the story, you gotta watch everything in that and find all the secret videos. But that's how you get the most fleshed out experience. But it's actually technically not necessary. You'll be a little confused during the story, but you'll still get the basic understanding. Okay, I'm being hunted down by someone. Blah, blah, blah. Went on the spoiler section, so I can't go into details. Boom. And so, you know, you have to kind of make sure that, okay, well, my character just did this, so I can't interact at that time with that. And a lot of other things. An interesting thing of note, when I was filming the judge videos, I'm actually talking throughout the whole thing, but I turned my voice all the way down so you can't hear it. And the video just consists of me saying, okay, look up, look mad, look side to side. I'll put a clip of it right here. And I'll kind of turn towards the camera a little bit. But keep the squint, not squint. There we go.
Marking the shot.
Okay, at a count of 5, slowly look into the camera.
Now?
Yeah. Audio. Okay, so for Peaceful Watcher, except for the obvious songs I did not make, stuff like the Judge's theme, the Chords theme, and even the Puzzle Box themes, I made those all myself. How did I do this without any knowledge of musical making whatsoever? 100% a cappella. That's right. Basically, for the Judge song, I basically went in and I just, I kind of sang a tune, and that's how that came, and then I just edited a little bit. For the court theme, I actually took a lot of inspiration off the new clown theme in Dead by Daylight. Those who watch Peaceful Watcher, watch my streams, know I love Dead by Daylight. So that theme has 4 progressing versions, each getting more oppressive and scarier than the last. And I kind of wanted the court theme to reflect that. And so, it just kind of builds up and gets scarier over time. And then, you know, the puzzle box theme is supposed to be a mockery of the judges theme, and that was obviously also used a cappella. All the background noise is just me making voices with my mouth and then editing the video, so it kind of sounds like instruments, or at least a noise that isn't a voice. But yeah, I don't know how to make music, but I can go, oh, you know.
Wow, that is some crazy stuff going on in Zamboashi. But for now, let's cut to nutrition's expert, Dr. Kato Janik.
So there are complications and some difficulties, and this is stuff that it's extraordinarily hard to get around, especially the older you are, because that's the busier you're on. Number one is finding time for myself. During a lot of the series, I was at school full-time, so 4 classes, and work full-time, so 5 days a week at work, 40 hours, which would probably make it like having 2 different jobs at the same exact time, which made it very difficult to make anything on my schedule. So any free time I had was either going into just pure leisure time of just relaxing and de-stressing, or peaceful watcher. So I guess you could say I kind of had 3 jobs, but I mean, this one's obviously not like a job where I have to show up every day. And now, what's worse than finding time for yourself is finding times with friends. Your friends are just as busy, if not at busier or less busy than you, and your schedules will not always line up. You have to find exact times, even if you could just hang out for like 1 hour and say, okay, let's get this real quick, and then you can go to whatever you have to do after that, and then I have to go to whatever I have to do after that. And so it would be very difficult to get everyone together just to film a scene. If it was just me and another person, that was, you know, it was still a little hard to find time. We'd have to plan like a week or 2 in advance, but it was doable. But for those scenes where I had to have multiple people in the same spot, ooh, those had to be planned like a month in time. And sometimes something happens and they can't show up, or you can't show up. And yeah, it's just incredibly difficult. That was something I dealt with throughout the whole series. For example, oh wait, that's spoiler. I'll mention it during spoiler. Limitations of budget and doability. You have to accept that what you imagine in your head, what the scene is going to look like, is not what it's going to look like on camera or anything like that. It's going to be way different than how you imagine in your head. It's just not possible. I'm sorry. That's just a matter of fact. For example, remember for the judge scene, I imagine... Oh wait, no, that's a spoiler. I remember in the beginning, I had envisioned the walking around scene where he's walking in front of the front house. This is like the 4th video, so it's not any spoiler. There's a man walking in front of my house. I record him because I find it creepy. You know, my character, Luis, the character. And so in my head, I imagine like, oh, it's going to be creepy. There's just this guy kind of circling around the house. It's going to be pretty creepy. And then lighting just isn't that good here. Our street lights are very low visible. I have to turn on high beams in my neighborhood. So because of that, it can be really hard to spot him out. But, you know, I worked with it. I brightened the video a tiny bit, and you can see like legs in it. And I was like, that's good enough for me.
Hey guys, editing Caesar here. So something was wrong with the camera and it decided to blink on and off, and it was just having so many different issues. I think this was because it was low on storage space. So because of that, I still got the audio because I was recording my mic, but because of that, there won't be any video for a little bit. Because at one point it just shut off, so I had to re-record after deleting some videos. That video should be fine. But basically, I'm just going to be supplementing peaceful watcher clips that I'm talking about, or at least some footage that you can see that maybe you wouldn't get to see. This is, you know, you'll still be able to hear the audio. It's just, this is just because I don't want you guys to see a flashing image of me talking. You know, it makes sense. I would re-record, but because the video is all one giant chunk, I'd have to do the original. Delete the original, and that would take a while. Also, I had to move my brother's entire setup, which is right behind mine, in order to get this video with the camera and the light and all that. And so I don't have the time for that. The only day I can record is today, because if I don't get this video out, I mean, I can edit the video all the way to Halloween, but if I don't get the parts I need recorded by today, there's no way I can get this video out before the end of October, and that's my goal. But yeah, here's some footage of Peaceful Watcher while I keep talking. And then also budget constraints. For a lot of scenes, I wanted to use more fake blood than I had available, and because I was, paying for school and all that and doing work, I just couldn't afford a lot of it. And even then, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy shirts at Goodwill that I can get blood on so I can throw it away after I'm done. I was too busy to pick up the shirts, or, I'd have to buy a shirt, and if we mess up, I'd have to retake the shot, but I can't use the bloody shirt, so I'd have to buy multiple of the shirts. So some of those scenes ended up slightly differently, but I think I came up with pretty clever solutions to those problems that I'll talk about more in the spoilers. Like I said, there's some things I just have to go in detail to really give a good example of that go into spoiler territory. Another complication was ideas mid-series. Mid-series, this will happen, I almost guarantee it, unless your series is like a month long. You'll have a great, wonderful idea mid-series that you're like, whoa, I should totally do that. And you can't. But there's other ones where you totally can. I'll go into more specifics in the spoilers section, but just know that not all mid-series ideas are good, but not all of them should be thrown away. They should be considered. I'll talk about it more in spoilers. Another part was ensuring no plot holes and consistency. If my character just got finished running away from the serial killer, I don't think the first thing he's going to do is get home and tweet like, look at me, I'm playing a video game, it's so fun. No, he's going to be talking about he's freaking out, it's just pretty scary. Another thing of consistency is I made like a couple spelling errors early on in the series, and so because of that, it became part of my character. So I always made spelling mistakes, at least like one per video. This is done on purpose, okay? My language isn't that bad. The only problem is I actually put in, I believe in a judge video, one spelling mistake, and I actually thought it was spelled this way. I'm kind of dumb. But yeah, that's just another thing you have to do. If a character acts a certain way, unless something dramatic happens that would make them change personality, you gotta make sure they maintain who they are. You can't have one person acting some way and all of a sudden they're acting a totally different way in the next scene or a couple days later.
Okay, and then I get one of them.
Now we're in spoiler section. Like I said, if you haven't watched the series, you're not going to. Fine, stay. If you do plan to watch the series, I would steer away from here unless you're planning just absorbing it all through the document anyways. Then I guess you can. Biggest mid-series idea is the court. So I kind of put Peaceful Watcher into the Phase 1, Phase 2 section. Phase 1, it's Peaceful Watcher versus Joy / CCK / Juan, which is the serial killer running around town killing people. The reason for this is because Luis thinks that he's being, targeted by him. We find out later in Phase 2 that it's actually the judge, who we thought was Joy, targeting Luis, but the judge is not Joy. I know that sounds really confusing. Watch the series, it'll make more sense. Basically, that's an example of a mid-series idea is the court. They were not in Phase 1. I had not written them at all. I hadn't even thought of them in Phase 1. It wasn't until Phase 2 when I thought like, okay, I made the mistake of not making the judge scary enough. So, what can I do to make him scarier? Well, what's scarier than one guy chasing you down, stalking you, trying to kill you? Easy. Multiply that by 5. And so through this, I was able to create different characters, more villains that people got to like or dislike or, interact with. That's another thing I like about Peaceful Watcher is people got to interact with a lot of the characters in the series, thus keeping it more unfiction-y, as I like to call it. Well, no, I don't call it that, but that's basically what it is. It helped break the line between viewer and video and make it almost believable that this could be happening in your world. At least that's what I like to tell myself. Another one was Puzzle Box. Puzzle Box is a huge puzzle that I had spent several days creating, making different ciphers for. The reason for this was for Luis to give an important message to his viewers without letting the judge know. Sadly, through this process, I made some mistakes and I had to clear it up on the Puzzle Box Twitter. Don't do this. Double, triple check your work. I double checked it. I should have triple checked it. And then after I triple checked it, I should have quadruple checked it because there's always a mistake or at least something that may not work as well as you may think it will. Another one goes back to interaction with viewers and consistency. For example, I had the professor character who basically wanted to help the main characters, but was kind of a scaredy cat. And so at one point, I feel like I messed up a little bit with her character. She got a big scare from the court, and because of that, she kind of, became less of a scaredy cat and manned up to it more, until eventually in the end you learn, oh no, she's been beaten to a pulp basically. Well, not physically beaten, but mentally beaten to a pulp, and now she's just going to help them just to get this all over with. And so it seems a little inconsistent with the character, but I think it was justified just through the traumatic event she went through. So it could pass, but just make sure to kind of avoid situations like that. Make sure it all makes sense, and it'll be easy for you. Another one was some clever solutions to some interesting problems I had. So Being Watched was actually a side group I had. Basically, they're an anti-stalker group within the story who would either help or hinder the viewer depending on if they could convince Daniel to help them or not. Daniel being the main representative of the group. I had originally planned them to have this huge separate ARG thing where it's basically two stories within the same universe that don't collide ever, but that would make me take super long just to edit and make and all that, and I just didn't have that kind of time. So I decided to instead to relegate them to what they are now today, anti-stalker group in the story. Another solution I had was the judge. So hugest spoiler ever, if you really want to watch the series, I would not watch this part. So the judge, played by my friend Michael, is a very swole guy, and so to show him as the judge would be a dead giveaway because you originally know him as Clayton. It would be a dead giveaway, it's the same guy. So I had to make him wear a giant jacket, even during the hot Texas heat that we have where it's like 90, 100 degree weather. I was like, I'm sorry, dude, you gotta wear this because they'll be able to figure out the main secret of the entire story like that. And that's no good. So yeah, I think making him wear a jacket really helped. Also made him wear a jacket because he's a little, his design's a little, inspired by Legion from Dead by Daylight. But, that's not the whole reason I had him wear a jacket. You could have worn any other jacket, but I need a thick one that really covered his physique. So that way people could keep guessing it could be any character that we know. Another one was giving hints without giving too much. So early on in the story, I made the judge character use Hector as an example of the people that Luis has apparently tortured and messed with. The reason for that is because Hector, as we find out, is the judge Clayton's best friend. That's why he mentions him specifically. But so that was giving a hint that, hey, this Clayton character is actually the judge. But I made it in such a way where the viewer is thinking like, oh, he's just saying that because it's his most recent victim. Because in phase 1, remember, we think the judge is Joy. And so I think that's just another thing. So another idea of a solution to some problems that can happen.
I can't. I'm getting it. Okay.
Okay, I see. You found the note as well. Good job. I can reveal a small bit about myself to give you some hope. My first. And now, because I could not submit to Nine Mind Trailhead, here's some statistics for the series. So, Peaceful Watcher in total as of date has 27,141 views total. That sounds like a big number to me. I'm not that big, so that's like whoa to me, but it might not be whoa to you. But just know, small steps are important to getting further, and that was a big deal to me. My most viewed video is Jesse 2 and George. They're both tied with 3.1 thousand views right now. Pretty big deal for me. Might not seem a lot to you. And so another thing I want to talk about is I get a huge viewer boost from 4chan X post. This was a double-edged sword. They got really close to doxing me, so I had to make it a little apparent that this is fake without making it too obvious because I wanted to maintain realism and immersion. And so it got me a lot of views, but it kind of hindered me in some way as well. But that can be attributed to my very early spike that I had. I had one huge spike. I have a total of 3 videos to date covering Peaceful Watcher, made by Eudoxia Mysteries, Wallbreakers, and this one Spanish YouTuber, what's his name? Neugocho. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. They all gave me huge view boosts. So yes, if your series get covered, that is amazing. You should always kind of be excited when you watch it. I know when I personally watch videos covering my web series, I was all giddy like a kid at a candy shop. And then finally, budget. So if you don't include the mask that Reason wore, I had a total of only like about $200 spent in the series. Over a year and a half, that is a non-existent budget. That is like tiny, which means that you can do this now, and you should. Including the Reason mask, it was about $300 because our mask alone was $100. But you don't have to be that crazy about it. I just wanted to be crazy about it.
Thank you for choosing the more. The show will begin momentarily. We thank you for your patronage.
And here's some reasons why you should make your own web series. It's super fun. There was never a time, I had a little motivation, but there was never a time I'm like, I hate this, I don't want to do this anymore. It was always fun and fulfilling for me, and I would always be giddy when I uploaded a video, and I was super happy throughout the whole thing. Even when motivation ran low, it wasn't even because of the series, it was just because of work and school. Another one is you can gather a community for your web series. People who love what you create is just one of the most amazing feelings I can ever describe. And even if the community is small, even if there's only 5 active people, I love every single member of my community. They're amazing, they were fun to talk to, it was fun to see them theorize, it was fun to see them solve, it was fun to see every single thing they went to try and figure out your series and how it goes down. And one last thing, if you do decide to make a web series, finish it, okay? You have to finish it, alright? There's so many web series out there where someone starts it and they don't finish it because they lost interest or they don't care about the project anymore. Don't do that. That means whatever small community you have will now forever be cut away from whatever story you had in mind, whatever genius. Even if you have 5 viewers for every video, that's 5 people out there who enjoy what you create. And if that's not enough to motivate you, I don't know what is. Sure, you can look at the big numbers and think, why can't I be as big as that guy? That shouldn't matter if your goal is telling an amazing story. Because if you have an amazing story, people will come to you. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't self-promote. Self-promote is important. Nightmite talked about that in Trailhead. Watch that video if you really want to make a web series. It's very important to get the ideas of how to grow while also still making good content. That was a mouthful. I have to kind of hurry this up because I'm actually almost out of footage on my camera. This video is pretty long so far, but thank you guys for watching so much. I'll have a link in the description to Peaceful Watcher, every video that covered Peaceful Watcher, and then you can go ahead and subscribe to those guys too. They're really cool. You should do that. And then I want to thank both the Peaceful Watcher and the DeadHatz community. Peaceful Watcher community for being an amazing community for the past year and a half, and the DeadHatz community for being so patient with me because I've been so quiet. I promise I'll have more videos out soon now that I can focus on DeadHatz instead of Peaceful Watcher. And finally, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you don't want to do it for this video, at least do it for Peaceful Watcher. I've been working on it for a year and a half. If you know someone who loves non-fiction or ARGs, share with them. They might like it. I would say it's more of an old school story. Not as much fancy editing as a lot of today's web series, but it just has a lot of raw footage that people really like sometimes. And, I know there's an audience out there. For it. I mean, that's what attracted original Slender series, so if you realize that, they might like this. Also, if you know people who like unfiction that's less supernatural and less sci-fi and more based in more grounded aspects of the world, so Peaceful Watcher. The story is like no supernatural elements, which may turn Sunny off, but I think I did a pretty good job at building horror and mystery without needing supernatural elements. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I love you all. And thank you.
Alright.
That fucking fly went right in my ear.
Dude, I heard a fly like right there.
Alright, you think that was a good shot?
Huh?
Yeah. Let's see if that was a good shot. Did you end the recording?
No. Huh?
Hello everybody, and welcome to Nighttime Visions, where we only talk about the scariest of true horror. Today's topic is gonna be
Francis, it's on you. Please, we've been trying to reach you for a while. Tell me if you received it.